in your own words, could you give us just a rundown of the film? Let's start with you, Nicholas.
Sure. Well, the way I like to say it is if you're into a psychological, intellectual narrative ride, then with some real substantive actual characters that are like people, but you don't have to skimp on the action, some of the excitement. You can get it all encompassed into one thing. And so this is your ticket. I think a lot of what we have today is a lot of one thing. We have a lot of action. We have a lot of comics. That's great. We have a lot of remade things. That's great. There's clearly a huge demand for it, but it's nice to see there's a little room for something unique out there, and something that challenges the audience a little bit too.
Tracy, you are the writer and director, so this all came from your mind. So can you explain how you got inspired to create this?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because it is a definitely a psychological thriller. It has a lot of different layers to it. It's very relevant and timely, actually. So I'm really glad it's coming out March 19th. I think it's very timely. I guess the genesis really was just my interest in these topics, and wanting, every time I wanted to write about politics, which I love, or psychological thrillers, I felt like I just kept coming back to this subject matter, and that was it. And that was where my interests were, and that's why I wanted to create those characters. I felt like the characters kind of drove the narrative in a sense, and helped me find my way, through the film.
And Tracy, so obviously you said that this has kind of come from, things you've been seeing in the world. What kind of parallels does this film draw to the real world?
I think a lot. What's happening with politics? There's a whole bunch of stuff in the film, like deep state stuff, and maybe things that you may see on the news once or twice, and they kind of go away. And we talk about subjects in the film, and we kind of delve into a lot of different issues. The Me Too movement. There's a lot of different relevant, timely issues. So.
And Nicholas, can you introduce us to your character and tell us how he's involved in the story?
Sure. So my character Rusty he is the editor of the newspaper where the main character Alicia is a reporter, and as she starts to investigate an accident of a childhood friend who's on the verge of becoming a huge star, and starts to see that something's not quite right. The cool thing about my character is he kind of gets to be the perspective for the audience. As he's learning, it's introducing the new information to the audience. So he's never really ahead of the audience. You're kind of going on the journey with him. And I had that firsthand experience of reading the script and seeing the twists and turns and being shocked and being surprised and not really being able to guess where it goes. And so it was definitely a privilege to take on that role of being able to usher the audience on the journey, but also not being the main guy. I'm not driving it. A lot happens to Rusty. He kind of thinks he's in control. He's not. And it was fun to be that perspective, for the plot and for the audience.
And Tracy, can you describe the timeline from when this was just, a thought in your head, to writing it down, to finally getting it into production, and then with COVID getting in the way, how did that kind of all transpire to finally get this film out March 19th?
Well, that's a long road, because I did a film before this called The Finders, which was also, low budget indie film. And I can remember working with my editor, and this was probably 2015. And I said, okay, I have this great idea. It's also my cousin, so I could tell him. And so I felt maybe 5 years, and then COVID hit. And so it was a long road. And I had a really great producer, Michelle Gray. And I just remember her saying, you know, we're in the kind of the wild, wild west of distribution right now. We have to kind of figure it out as we go. And I just give a lot of credit to her for believing in the film and pushing me along. Because there were days you just feel like you want to hunker down and maybe write my next one, which I'm doing now. But there's days you just maybe want to put it aside and I don't know, but she really, you know, helped me and believed in me and the film and the crew and the cast. So I credit her with that journey to distribution and to the March 19th opening in theaters. I really do.
And was this filmed at all during COVID or was it
Oh
pre-COVID?
no, yeah, pre-COVID.
Oh, well, that's good at least.
Yeah.
Because that would be a whole nother set of
Oh,
protocols and everything.
There's no 6 feet. There's no mask. We were just standing around, you know, just
yeah.
close to each other.
Do you ever get that when you're watching something now and you're like, why are they so close
Oh
together?
yeah,
Like,
you
you
can't
feel
be
like
that close. Yeah, 100%. Look at that crowd. That's disgusting. Get out of there.
right, it happens to me all the time. And for both of you, obviously you were a director and you were an actor, so you have that close relationship. Were there any memorable moments on set for either of you?
I think the most memorable part for me was before we began. Because I got the breakdown, I got the sides, and then the offer, and then the full script, and we went through that. And then at a certain point in pre-production, a new script came in, and Rusty was very different. And so, you know, I wouldn't be a real actor if my confidence wasn't that thin. And I'm like, why is the character all different? Was it because of me? What happened? You know, we changed so much. And the casting director said, you know, Tracy would be happy to talk to you about it. And I said, that was very generous. And she told me, you know, after we decided to go with you, we saw some places that we could mold the character more to what you did in your audition and the way that you saw the character. And that's kind of mind-blowing, you know, especially as an actor who's been trying to chase the TV realm of the industry for the last few years, when many times it feels like you're just a cog in the operation and just kind of go in and do the thing and be on your way. And so to be brought in and have a collaboration on that was just so lovely and encouraging. That's something that comes to mind to me a lot when I think back on the whole evolution of this.
And how about you, Tracy?
Just so many things. It was just a joy from beginning to end. We shot it in 13 days
Oh, wow.
in my hometown of Hamilton, New Jersey. So everyone, cast and crew, kind of came to town, and it was really a collaborative effort. So many people in town helped in so many ways. I have family, I have friends here. But it was just a great time. There were some obstacles, you know, weather, of course, and we did have someone just drop out. I would say maybe a week before, and that was tough. But everything, I have to say, worked out for the best. So, I mean, from beginning to end, it was just a great indie shoot. It really was. The cast was fabulous. The crew that came in from Philadelphia was amazing. I had an amazing producer. I have great things to say about the experience. I really do.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on the film. I'm excited for everyone else to get to see it too.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I appreciate this.